Hello, and thank you for tuning in to the Take Note and Move Forward podcast show. I am your host, Notes from Wanda, your forgiveness coach and silence breaker. I hope you guys are enjoying your week so far, and I hope that you are feeling well. Last week, there was not an episode recorded for this podcast. I was trying to finish up a few things, and I'm hoping that these things will turn out to be something wonderful. So if you are tuning in for the first time to this podcast is all about forgiveness, healing, and moving forward. I talk about how you can cope with painful memories and flashbacks due to rape, domestic violence, and/or child molestation. Just to recap the last episode of this podcast, the last episode was all about maintaining your inner peace and how you can get back your inner peace after something horrible has been done to you. I talk about how sometimes after you have been through a trauma, it may affect the way that you wake up in the morning. It might make it hard for you to wake up with a smile on your face. If you haven't had a chance to listen to this episode, please visit my website at notesfromwanda.com/EP19. Again, it's notesfromwanda.com/EP19. Today's episode is about lashing out and using violence to resolve your issues. I wanted to talk about how lately I've been seeing a lot of women lash out at their spouses, their husbands, using violence. For example, a few weeks ago, my husband and I witnessed a young lady running after her husband with a pot full of hot water, hot boiling water. And it was, the behavior was displayed so right there in public, right there in the middle of the street. So everything that went on in their household, they knew, and everybody else who was watching knew. Now, we were just passing by and trying to get by these people, but they were in the middle of the road because the man was trying to get away from the lady because she had a pot full of hot water. And the argument was basically about she went to work that day and he had the day off, but failed to take out the garbage. Okay, people, listen, I know that we get frustrated. I know life is hard, but there's no need to go after somebody with a pot full of boiling water. That is not the solution to the problem. I'm quite sure if you sit down and talk to the man, then maybe he will learn how to take out the garbage on his days off or whenever he's supposed to. But what I'm noticing a lot lately is that because us as women, some of us are not taking precautions before we get involved in a relationship. We're not taking precautions before we get married. We're jumping into relationships without getting over our past. And we're hurting people because we're still hurting from our past. That wasn't the only thing that I witnessed. And I'm not saying that it's just women. But lately, from what I've been seeing, from where I am and from where I live, I've been seeing a lot of women resort to using violence to solve their marital issues, to resolve their relationship issues. And another incident that occurred that disturbed me so much. The lady took her shoe and hit her boyfriend across the head because she felt like he didn't know what he was doing while he was driving. I was in the middle of traffic, sitting in my car, and my car was unfortunately next to the person who was hitting her spouse across the head with the shoe. And she was yelling out loud, so you couldn't help but know why she was hitting him across the head. These two incidents that I witnessed, I ended up calling the police on both of these women because if you're a woman, I don't care what you have been through, you have no right to hit no man or resort to using violence to solve any issue. It may seem like he can take it. It may seem like he can put up with all the pain that you're causing him, but it's not fair and it's not right because, in turn, you wouldn't want him to do that to you because you're not driving the car right or because you didn't take out the garbage. You wouldn't want somebody going upside your head with a shoe or coming after you with boiling hot water. The behavior that I have been witnessing lately, and I wanted to talk about this on this episode, has made me furious with some people with why they're ignoring their problems. I know that it's not easy. Ladies, trust me, I know. Because I spent years trying to get over the pain and the frustration that I was holding inside. But I nearly destroyed my life before I woke up one day and decided to change and decided to face my demons. And it probably was almost too late. But thank goodness that God had another plan for me and allowed me to live to see the next day. If you haven't read my book, please purchase a copy of it today. The title is They Said That I Wouldn't Make It, But Here I Am. In this book, I talk about how I took myself through all kind of craziness, how I couldn't cope in a relationship or relate to anyone because I was pushing all my pain and anger aside, and I was using alcohol to cope with my pain and my frustration. I wasn't dealing with it head on. I was just ignoring it. So if and you don't have to say so publicly, and if you don't want to talk to me, talk to someone. But if you're not convinced that you need some kind of help, but you're using violence as a solution to your problems, please purchase a copy of my book today. And I just want you to understand that sometimes there's no second chance to make things up for what you did wrong. Sometimes it's not a second chance to get things right with the person that you love. And this is why it's important that you get over certain things before you jump into a relationship. This is why it's so important that you learn how to cope with your painful memories and your flashbacks before you start bringing somebody else into your foolishness. And then you start lashing out on this person because you don't know how to handle your frustration. And it's not fair. I talk about this a lot. I talk about how people need to get themselves right before they jump into a relationship. And if you rewind back to the last couple of episodes, you'll notice that I bring it up a lot. I bring up the subject a lot because I see it too much. I'm witnessing it too much. Even on social media, you see where people feel like it's okay to use violence to resolve their issues. People, we are not children anymore. We are not grown. And especially if you call yourself being involved in a relationship, you definitely better be grown and know what you're doing before you get involved with another person. And if I catch anyone else, like I caught the two other ladies that I just spoke a while about, using violence to resolve their issue with their spouse, I'm calling the police on you, man or woman. And just like I said, it doesn't matter if you are a woman. It doesn't mean that you have the right to use violence to resolve an issue that could have been resolved with just simply walking away. Or maybe somebody needs to leave the house for a few hours and, cool off. Don't use violence as the solution to resolve your frustration. And like I said, even if you're going through some other kind of craziness on your job, you're going through all kind of craziness with your finances, no one should end up getting hit as a result to your frustration. People, if you're not already, please continue to follow me on social media. On Twitter and Instagram, it's at Notes from Wanda. You will see that I post a lot of information and quotes about coping with painful memories and flashbacks. And I provide a lot of tools and information about how you can start your process of healing. Like I said, please find a way to get yourself healed and better before you get involved with another person. On Twitter and Instagram, people, is at Notes from Wanda. And on Facebook, it's facebook.com/take note, move forward. And also, I wanted to remind you that you can download my free action guide. It is a free action guide that you can use every day to help you take your next step towards healing. You can download this free action guide at notesfromwanda.com/I'm ready. Again, it's notesfromwanda.com/I'm ready. Oh, and the book is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kindle. The name of my book is They Said That I Wouldn't Make It, But Here I Am. Please purchase a copy of it today. You guys take care and enjoy the rest of your week. Be well and keep your hands to yourself.